Hello there, Scorpio. It's Keegan. Hope you guys have been doing well. As you can see, spooky season is upon us. I'm super excited. For those of you who are regulars here, you know that I am a Scorpio. You know that I'm a Halloween Scorpio. And so this is my version of Christmas. I get super excited around Halloween because it's my birthday. So I'm doing my first round of spooky season themed readings and thus the decor. We have two friends here hanging out with us. I really quickly just want to show you guys what we're actually going to be looking at today, so you can decide if this is something that you actually want to watch, if this is a reading that you feel might reveal information for you that would be useful. So we're going to be pulling two cards out of the Oracle deck that I'm shuffling currently. That is what's represented in terms of what you need to think about or what you might need to know, some insider guidance to heal the past and to secure the future that you're looking for. Then we're going to be taking a look at the recent past tense connection, the main block of this relationship, your pain and their pain, and then looking at the blind spot, hidden fear, and secret wish of both you and the other person that you're thinking about. So that's what we're going to be focusing on. I will remind you what each of the cards represents when I put them down. But I just want to let you know what I'm going to be doing so you can decide if you want to hang out and investigate that with me or not. I also really quickly want to let you guys know that I am doing a special for personal readings during the month of October. So it's $20 for 20 minutes, $30 for 30 minutes, or $60 for 60 minutes. And I do have some space remaining during the month of October for those. If you're interested in getting a personal reading with me, you can email me, keaghantarot@gmail.com. It's first come, first serve on those, and they do go quickly. So you can let me know. This Oracle deck is feeling good. What I'm going to do actually here is I'm going to pull the top card, place it right there, and the bottom card, put it right here. And then I have a deck here that I have pre-shuffled quite a bit, but I'm going to do a little bit of shuffling on camera because I know lots of people like to see the cards get mixed up. I think there is some group of people who think there is a big grand conspiracy to, I don't know, stack the decks or something with tarot readers. But as you can see, I have shuffled, I have flipped the cards in alternating directions. I'm going to give them 2 more shuffles, and then I'm going to deal the cards out right in order, actually, from the top of the deck. And we'll see what comes out for you, Scorpio. I do want to let you guys know, as I'm putting these down, I'm going to be doing several Scorpio-focused readings over the next couple of weeks. So I will do another round of videos for all of the signs specific to Halloween. And then I will be doing Scorpio season, the birthday reading for you guys as well. So if you are a Scorpio and you're not subscribed to the channel, you should probably subscribe. We have lots of cool Scorpios here. I do Scorpio readings quite often. I connect very well with the sign of Scorpio. Okay, so I'm just putting these down again right off the top of the deck, and we have the cards ready to go. So like I said, we're going to start by looking at what's necessary to heal the past. I think this is a good place for us to start. These cards don't have reversals, so I'm just going to flip it so you guys can see the card here. So this says, the more energy and intuition I bring to my faith, the more fearless and free I am. Okay, so I think what's most important here, Scorpio, in terms of healing the past is you have to find ways to feel less scared, less afraid, less focused on the darker aspects of whatever happened in the past, figuring out how to unravel that, get yourself unchained to it. The more that you can start to do that, the more that you can focus on having faith that things are going to turn around, that things, regardless of how things work out, that things will work out in some way. And they might not work out the way that you hope that they will, but things are going to work out in the way that's best for us. Things are going to work out in the way that is for our best. Okay, I think the more that you can do that, you will start to feel lighter. You will start to feel like you're able to think a little bit more clearly. Now, I want to jump right into the recent past here and see what we have going on. We have the Knight of Cups here coming out reversed. Let's show you that. So in terms of the recent past in this connection, it's very interesting because, not the best card to come out, honestly. Honestly, in terms of the recent past. The Knight of Cups reversed is a very, um, the energy I'm getting here is just like lots of broken promises. Lots and lots of them. I feel like someone promised the world and delivered absolutely nothing here. There's also an energy of there being a little bit of kind of like fantastical thinking about who this person was or what this relationship was. It's a situation in which I think that there was a lot of hope. There was a great deal of hope that what was being presented was the truth. What was being presented was something that would be manifested. But ultimately, I don't feel like that was the situation. I feel like, again, there were lots of expectations that were set that were not really based on the reality of the situation. So, understandably, recent past feels a little bit it's hard. There's lots of sorrow. There's lots of really intense emotions that are coming from this card. There's a great deal of disappointment. It's a situation where I'm feeling like you don't really understand why someone would do this sort of thing. You don't understand why someone would play that level of game. So we're going to take a look and see what was going on there. But that's, I think, for those of you listening, I think that's really what it will boil down to. I feel like you were played with. Your emotions were played with. Your heart was played with. I think for most of you listening, now again, keep in mind, if you're a cross-watcher who's watching to try to get insight into a Scorpio, in those situations where you're not watching your own signs reading, the energies can be reversed. So this might resonate for you as your experience with a Scorpio. Okay, so don't go into the comments and come after me saying it was them, it was them. Yeah, it could be them. You know, you're watching a sign that isn't yours. These readings are designed for Sun, Moon, Venus, and rising signs. So if you're not any of those in Scorpio and you're deliberately watching to try to get information about a Scorpio, yeah, it could be that Scorpio did something to do you wrong. But I'm doing this reading specific to Scorpios, so I'm talking to them. Okay, you're sort of like a guest who has invited yourself into the reading. But regardless, for the people who are hearing me right now, it feels very much like you feel like you were played. You feel like this person was deliberately trying to mess with your mind and manipulate your heart. Okay, let's see what the main block is in this connection. You have the Nine of Pentacles here. It is coming out upright, which is interesting in terms of a block. You know, I think what this boils down to in terms of a block, now keep in mind, the Nine of Pentacles on its own is a very great card. It's a good card. But this is coming out as a block, right? So very often people will comment on my readings. I do things a little bit differently than some tarot readers do. And so I'm saying this is a block between these two people in this relationship, right? So even though this is a great card on its own, it's coming out as what the block between these people were. I think that the main block here is that, you know, at least on one side, there was this notion that this was a great love, that this was something that could survive. This was something that, you know, had a lot to offer. It was very enjoyable. But I feel like that was a one-sided thing, especially with this Knight of Cups coming out in terms of the recent past. I think that the thing that was the block here was two people didn't see eye to eye in terms of where this was going, what this meant. It could also be that these two people don't see eye to eye in terms of what that ideal sort of great, loving relationship that's right on the edge of going into that Ten of Pentacles energy. They don't agree on what that looks like. They don't agree on what that entails. But there was definitely a situation in which these two people were not seeing eye to eye in terms of what the end goal was. I also feel for some of you, this main block, it might not necessarily be that dire. That's the energy I'm getting overall. But for some of you, this was a situation in which you were right on the edge of that Nine of Pentacles turning into that Ten of Pentacles. But at least one of the people in this relationship had some sort of commitment issue come up. And I think if you're in that group, it could be either way. You could be a Scorpio who realized at the very last moment, no, this isn't what I want. You pulled back, or it could have been your partner. But I think that's a smaller group of you. The biggest energy that I feel here is that of a game player. Someone who was really sort of manipulating a situation. And when it came down to proving it, when it came down to showing, right, show me that that's really what this is, they weren't able to do it. They weren't able to actually follow through with it. So let's take a look and see your pain. The person listening to me, what's going on for you? You have the Five of Wands coming out reversed here. I think in terms of your pain, is you're having a hard time moving on. You're having a hard time getting into a situation where it's very interesting what I'm getting here. You want to fight. You want to have this out. You want to be able to like yell and scream at this person. You want to like that's the type of closure that you're looking for. You're wanting to be in a place where you know, and again, I just want to point out here, the Five of Wands reversed represents a situation where we might be trying to avoid a conflict, right? But this is a source of pain. So what I'm actually getting from this is that it's hurting you trying not to engage. It's hurting you trying not to have this out. Having to sort of pull back or not being able, right? Being forced to not have contact with this person. That's the main sticking point for you. That's the source of pain. You want there to be some sort of closure. You want to be able to get answers to your questions. You want to be able to confront this person. And I don't feel like it's possible. I don't feel like it's possible for you to do that. Well, let's take a look here at their pain. I think some of you really don't care. And oddly enough, they have the Strength card coming out here. If anything, I think for this other person, they might have like a bruised ego. Again, I feel like for a lot of you, you found this person out. You caught this person. So in terms of what their pain is, there's not really a ton of pain, to be honest with you. I'm not sensing a lot here. I think that what it really comes down to is almost like embarrassment or annoyance that they got caught. If you're looking at cards and you're trying to figure out what this other person's pain point is, the Strength card is, it's a major arcana card and it has a lot of power behind it. So that's what I'm saying. I don't feel a lot of pain from them. Their ego is bruised, though. Their ego is bruised. I feel like this was something too where I don't think this was just you finding out about this. I feel like other people are aware. So I think there is a certain level of embarrassment that this person feels. There's a certain level of, like I wouldn't even go, like I wouldn't say they're humiliated, but I would say they are embarrassed and annoyed. Okay. So I think what I want to do here is for these cards, since they're the same, right? We have Blind Spot, Hidden Fear, and Secret Wish. I'm going to go yours, theirs, yours, theirs, yours, there in terms of looking at these, okay? So if you're going to hang out with me, I just want to let you know what we're going to look at for the rest of it. I do feel like some of you that card might have been the, the breaking point for you for listening to the rest of it. But I do hope, some of you are going to hang out with me for the rest. So let's see what's going on. Your blind spot here. You have the Hanged Man coming out reversed. I think that this makes sense in terms of what I was saying earlier too. Your blind spot is really the fact that you aren't realizing how much you are keeping yourself stuck in this energy by wanting answers, by wanting to understand, by trying to analyze it and think about it and go over it over and over in your head. You aren't realizing that you're keeping yourself stuck in a place that isn't healthy. You're keeping yourself stuck in sort of repeating the pain and the embarrassment that you felt. That really is your blind spot. It's like if you really sat down and evaluated, like even the past week of your life, and you thought about how much time you spent kind of locked in that painful energy compared to the time that you spent starting to move forward, right? This fearless freedom, going all the way back to the beginning, right? Like, where's your energy being directed? Where are you putting your energy? Are you putting your energy towards healing? Or are you putting your energy into trying to figure this person out when this person isn't trying to do the same? This person is not sitting at home crying about this. This person is not sitting at home, with everything on pause. This person is, they're annoyed and they're embarrassed, but probably they're figuring out, what their next move is. Let's take a look. What is their blind spot? 8 of Wands here, coming out reversed. It's very interesting in terms of a blind spot for this person, because what I think is that they're not aware that they're kind of messy. And I think you get that, like this energy that I feel of them sort of being caught, the whatever happened in the most recent past of them being found out in terms of not being able to live up to what they were promising, being caught in this sort of like web of lies. It's weird because I don't think they realize that they're not very good at lying. They're not very good at, or maybe they're good at lying, but they're not good at hiding their tracks. There's something about this person that they aren't aware that they're not as sneaky as they think they are. And they still didn't learn that here. In this connection, they still didn't learn that. They did not. They still think that they're they still think there's kind of like a master at what they do. I do think they're really good at kind of the emotional manipulation aspect of things. But in terms of, if you have any sort of longevity with this person, this other person, if you have any run of time with them, you just start to see that they're not able to keep it up. Everything starts to unravel for them. I don't necessarily like the energy here, but let's see. What's your hidden fear? Page of Cups here. Very interesting. It is upright. So I think for some of you, this situation has left you with a fear of maybe trying again. It's left you feeling a little bit unwilling to open yourself up. I think another aspect here that's coming through very strongly, the Page of Cups for me as a reader, I often associate that with intuitive messages. Messages that aren't necessarily spoken, but messages that we feel. And I think for a lot of you, you're scared of admitting what sort of guidance you're getting around this person. You're fearful of actually owning it. You're fearful of looking back at this relationship and realizing that there were lots of red flags, that there were things that maybe should have made you pull back. There were things that maybe should have made you aware that this person was not necessarily being honest, that they were not necessarily being truthful, that they were doing things that were manipulative. And I think that you had an awareness, you had that gut feeling, but you talked yourself out of it, or you allowed yourself to be talked out of it. And I think it's left you with a fear that you might not even, like I said, be fully aware of, that you don't fully trust your intuition. And it's leaving you in a situation where you're scared to open up again. And if you're scared to open up and move forward, right, then it makes sense that you might not be able to really get out of this energy. You might have this blind spot of being stuck because your fear is moving forward. Let's see what their hidden fear is. Wow. Justice. Makes sense, right? I think that they really are scared that they will get what's coming to them. They're really scared. It's so interesting. For some of you, you might still be in this actively because, again, in terms of their blind spot, they think that they're better at, covering their tracks than they are. And their hidden fear is that, ultimately the truth will come out, that they'll get what's coming to them. So for some of you, and I think this is a very Scorpio move, you might have information, you might know that this person is up to no good, but you might be holding on to that. You might not have shown that yet. You might not have actually, pulled that out to call it quits. You could be sitting on this information, seeing how much more they'll do. It's a very Scorpio sort of energy. It's interesting because if, you know, with this fear being hidden, it could mean what I just spoke to. It could also just mean that this person in general does have a fear that they will eventually get caught. Because like I said, they don't seem very good at covering their tracks. They don't seem very good at trying to get away with this stuff. And so this could just be a thing that they try to hide going into things. They try to hide the fear that, you know, they're not going to be able to keep this going. I don't feel like you're the first person they've done this to. I think if you could investigate their past, you would see that they have lots of exes. They have lots of people who probably wouldn't return a text if they sent a text, people who wouldn't pick up the phone if they called, people who, you know, would not be happy to see them if they pop back up. Okay, what is your secret wish here? Please be something good. Queen of Swords coming out reversed. This is actually, in this particular placement, I'm kind of happy with it, okay? Now, the Queen of Swords reversed is not necessarily the best card in a normal reading because this represents someone who is very cold and distant, someone who is pulled away, someone who is very sharp-tongued, someone who is, you know, borderline being like cruel and unkind in a situation. But I feel like in terms of a secret wish, this makes sense. I don't think that you're there yet. I think that you really do want to figure out how to not be as emotionally caught up in this person and in this relationship. I do feel like you want to figure out how to move it out of that hangman energy and be able to put some distance behind this to close your heart off to this chapter. Right? So this makes sense here. It does. It makes sense that that would be the energy of what you're really wishing you could figure out. The other thing that I get from this card, you know, the Queen of Swords reversed is not necessarily the most honest and straightforward energy. And I feel like a lot of you are sitting in a situation where you're just wishing you could get direct answers. You're wishing you, like I felt that at the beginning too, right? You're just wishing that you could get some sort of closure, some sort of honesty, even if it doesn't come from the person. I think for some of you, that's why I said you might not have actually really pulled the plug on this yet. You might not have actually ended this, or you might still be playing along with this person in some way because you're just trying to figure out as much as you can before they realize that you've caught them. It feels very much like cat and mouse, or like a spider luring, you know, the insect into the web. There is, for a lot of you, you're doing that right now. For me, I would say I understand that energy as a Scorpio. I understand really wanting to figure it out and not feel like someone's getting away with something or someone was able to trick you. But it's also, it comes down to a situation of like, how much more time do you want to invest in this person? Like, are the answers really worth that? Like, is the end result going to be any different in the situation because you have more information? And you need to ask yourself that. For some of you, you would say absolutely. For others of you, you might realize that you've really just been stuck. Your blind spot is that you've kept yourself stuck trying to get answers, trying to get information, trying to make sure that you don't, you know, nothing gets past you. But what's really happening here is you're just lingering in this very toxic situation. What is the secret wish of this other person? I really don't care, but let's look. Page of Swords here, coming out reversed. The secret wish to this person, honestly, is that they can just keep doing what they're doing. The Page of Swords is a very immature, untruthful, dishonest sort of communication. It represents, you know, just conflict and things not going well. It's literally a card of bad news. And this person, they just want to keep being able to be that. They just want to keep being able to do what they're doing. They're scared of getting caught. They think they're better at hiding this than they are. I don't like this other person, to be just quite honest. I get very sort of territorial, especially when I'm reading for Scorpios, because there's so many of you who are subscribers here, and I've interacted with you guys so much, and I know that often the readings for Scorpios, they're either really high or they're really low, and this just feels like a really low reading. And I think that for a lot of you, you're really angry that you got. And I think some of you, maybe a lot of you, are trying to stick with this in a way of being able to say, haha, I got you. But in a way, like, you're still getting got, because this person, ultimately, they're not going to care, right? And the source of their pain, they have strength. This feels like someone who almost, they enjoy hurting people. And even if in the end they get caught doing it, they can still have the satisfaction of knowing they got away with it for as long as they did. Okay, let's look at what we can do to secure the future that we want to secure. Now, what I will say, I'm happy to see that it doesn't appear that this reading indicates that your goal is to try to stay with this person, or that your goal is trying to get this person back. If anything, it feels like you're just trying to get this person as much as they got you. And I'm not going to judge that. You get to live your life how you want. Is it the best use of your energy? Is it the best way of, moving beyond this? No. But if that's what you feel you need in order to get closure, then, that's up to you. I don't think ultimately this person's going to care, though. And I think that's the main takeaway insight for you. So let's take a look here from the Oracle card. To secure the future that you want, what's most important? The presence of love will always cast out fear. I think that this is very important here. And I just want to say again, the more that you can focus on loving yourself and realizing what you deserve and figuring out how it is that you ended up here, right? Like, were you too trusting? Were you deliberately trying to ignore things? Were you trying not to be judgmental? What was it that allowed this person to kind of come in and do the things that they did? If you can ask yourself those questions and learn those lessons, I think moving forward towards something new, towards love, towards happiness, towards just being able to love and take care of yourself is really what's most important. Doing that will start to push this energy out and allow you to move forward from it. Okay? So, Scorpios, we're going to call it quits here. If you would like to explore this connection more deeply with me, again, I am doing the personal reading special during the month of October, and you can email me about that. Again, it's keaghantarot@gmail.com. You can send me an email, let me know whether you want to do 20, 30, or 60 minutes, and then I'll follow up with you with all the details that you need to know. If you are watching this and you're not subscribed to my channel, you have probably watched other readings for me, or you really liked this one if you're still hanging out with me at this point. So go ahead and click subscribe, join up. That way you know when I do post new readings. Like I said, I do have several Scorpio readings planned over the next couple of weeks, so that will let you know when I post those. Take care of yourself. Don't focus on this person any more than you absolutely need to in order to get closure. I love you, Scorpios. I'll see you again soon.